Good evening and welcome to a brief edition of the news. Prime Minister Hani al-Mulki held talks with his Japanese counterpart Shinzo Abe at the end of an official visit to Tokyo that dealt with Jordanian-Japanese ties and ways of enhancing cooperation in the political, economic and trade fields. The talks tackle developments in the Middle East and challenges posed to the region. During a press conference with the Japanese Prime Minister, al-Mulki thanked Japan for its continued support to the kingdom that contributed to Jordan's reform, resilience and sustainable development path. For his part, Abe said that Jordan has been making immense efforts not only for its own sake, but also for the peace and stability of the region and the global community.
We have just concluded a very constructive and comprehensive meeting and discussed ways to deepen our bilateral strategic partnership, our development and economic cooperation, including ways to increase tourism, expand Japanese investment in Jordan, and assist Japanese firms to realize opportunities across our region. I thank you, Prime Minister Abe, for Japan's continued support to Jordan in terms of technical assistance, financial developments, grants, budget support, as well as humanitarian aid and resilience aid to refugees and host communities, respectively. Japan's assistance has clearly contributed to supporting Jordan's reform, resilience, and sustainable development path.
Minister of Awqaf and Islamic Affairs Wael Arabiyat warned of the continued Israeli violations of the sanctity of AlAqsa Mosque, Haram al-Sharif, under the pretext of containing violence and tension. He said Israel is fully responsible for the rise in tensions and violence in Jerusalem due to violations committed by Israel and Jewish extremists against AlAqsa Mosque. Jordan, he added, rejects under any circumstance the closure of AlAqsa Mosque and the prevention of Friday prayers there. Iraq celebrated the liberation of Mosul from Daesh with a military parade in the capital, Baghdad. Last week, Iraqi Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi formally declared Mosul liberated from Daesh after nearly 9 months of fierce fighting to dislodge the terrorist group from their last major stronghold in Iraq. Here's more.
Celebrating the biggest victory inflicted on Islamic State since it rampaged through northern Iraq 3 years ago. A parade in Baghdad on Saturday after Iraq's military drove IS out of its stronghold Mosul. Troops from the army, police and paramilitary forces taking part in the parade, watched by Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi. He's back from Mosul, where on Monday he declared victory over the militant group, saying that Iraqis had made sacrifices with their blood in order to consign IS to the trash heap of history. The stench of corpses in the streets of Mosul, a grisly reminder of the nearly 9 months of urban warfare it's taken to dislodge the jihadists. Around 900,000 people fled the fighting in Mosul, with more than a third sheltering in camps outside the city. Civilians have been quickly returning, and work is underway to repair homes and infrastructure, something the United Nations estimates will cost in the region of $1 billion.
UN Special Envoy for Syria, Staffan de Mistura, announced that the 7th round of UN-led peace talks on Syria had concluded with no breakthroughs, no breakdowns, and no one walking out. During the news briefing, he said this week's talks had been preparatory work aimed at getting people closer to each other, hoping to push them all to sit in the same room and reach a solution to the Syrian conflict. A new round of talks will convene at the beginning of September. Over to Libya, where Benghazi's international airport officially reopened for commercial flights after a 3-year closure due to fighting in the city. The first outward-bound flights from Benina Airport were to the capital Tripoli, to Amman, and to the southeastern Libyan city of Kufra. Flights to and from other destinations are also scheduled. In China, the application of genetic testing in diagnosing and predicting disease risks is growing rapidly. A majority of mothers-to-be for prenatal care in hospitals are choosing genetic testing, as the technique can identify a particular gene that may cause a genetic disorder through an analysis of blood, body fluids, and cells. Another area for testing is cancer therapy, which uses drugs or other substances to more precisely identify and attack cancer cells. It is estimated cancer case numbers in the world will increase from 14 million in 2012 to 19 million a year by 2025. A sinkhole in Florida swallowed up 2 houses and prompted public safety officials to call for locals to evacuate the area. The sinkhole was measured to be 60 meters across and 15 meters deep. Florida is prone to sinkholes because of its porous limestone foundation and cavities. Sinkholes mostly occur as naturally acidic underground water flows through and dissolves the underlying limestone. In sports, Garbin Muguruza clinched a maiden Wimbledon title with a 7-5, 6-love demolition of Venus Williams, whose dreams of a fairy tale victory at the age of 37 were blown apart. The 23-year-old clinched victory in 1 hour and 17 minutes. It was her second Wimbledon final.
2 sets for love, 7-5, 6-love.
Lewis Hamilton took pole position for his home British Grand Prix for the 3rd year in a row, chalking up the 67th pole of his career and 6th of the season, with every chance of equaling Schumacher's 68. Ferrari's Kimi Raikkonen will join the Mercedes driver on the front row, with championship leading teammate Sebastian Vettel qualifying 3rd. And finally, warm conditions prevail across the kingdom tonight as temperatures remain above average this time of year. As for tomorrow, it will be hot as temperatures further rise to reach 35 degrees Celsius in Amman, and the winds northwesterly light to moderate. Further south in the Gulf of Aqaba, mercury levels will hit a high of 43 degrees. With this, we come to the end of our news in brief. I'm Dana Absham. Thanks for watching and have a good night.